Please be seated. Well, I have to tell you, being a part of this barbecue competition the last couple days was so much fun. And I needed some fun because last Sunday was pretty rough. Last Sunday, both my teams were eliminated. The Detroit Tigers were eliminated, just missed the playoffs. And the Detroit Lions lost to the Chicago Bears. And there's no coming back from that. So, pretty down week. But we went to this barbecue competition, and believe it or not, I found a new spiritual gift. They asked me to be a judge. It was the most wonderful 3 hours I've had in a long time. It was 3 hours nonstop of eating barbecue. And these teams, some of these teams are amazing, the things that they have. There were 10 teams out there from 10 different churches. And some of them brought these smokers that were programmed and run by computers. And they showed up Friday night, and they put all their food in, and they set the computer, and they went home. And they came back Saturday morning. And these smokers were giant. And then, poor Jerry and Paul and Arthur, they were out there all night with their little small smoker doing the best that they can. So on Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, I got to eat 10 different kinds of chicken. And then 10 different kinds of ribs, and then 10 different kinds of briskets. And they were all so good, but we had to pick one. Because there can only be one winner. And so these judges, we had to rate them 1 through 10, where we had to give them a score 1 through 10, and then they'd go to the finals, where the final judges would rank them. And it was just so exciting to see all these people who worked so long to try and win this competition, but it kind of became sad realizing that there's only one brisket that can win, and there's only one rib that can win, and there's only one chicken that can win. And so we had the awards presentation. It was nice to get third in chicken for our first time out. Next year, I'm sure we'll do better, and even if we don't, we'll still have fun, but it was a lot of fun. But it got me thinking, as human beings, we like competition. We like things to be difficult. We like to have goals. And we like to work towards getting better to achieve those goals. And does anybody in here like to win? Right? There can only be one winner, and we know that going in. We all want to win. We work hard to win. But even if we don't win, we can walk away if we work hard saying, I know I gave it my best. I gave it my best. And I think Naaman is the same way. Our first reading today, the story of Naaman going to see Elisha. He was a great, mighty warrior. I'm sure he liked to win. If you're a warrior, I'm sure that's your favorite thing, actually, is winning, because if you don't win, let's just say you like to win. But he has leprosy, and this girl who became a slave said, you need to go and see Elisha, this man of God. He will be healed, I promise. And so he does. He travels far to see Elisha, and he gets there, and Elisha won't even come out of the house. He's expecting Elisha just to come out, wave his hands, do some kind of magic, and he'll be made better. But Elisha doesn't do that. He says, go to the river and bathe yourself 7 times, and you'll be made clean. And he gets upset. He gets frustrated, right? Because he wanted just the wave of the hand to be healed, but now he's upset because what Elisha is telling him to do isn't difficult. And even one of his men said, if he told you to do something difficult, you would do it, right? If he told you to crawl on your hands and knees for 10 miles, you would do that. If he told you to bring 10 chests full of gold, you would do that. But because it's simple, you're frustrated. Fine, I'll do it. I think we're all frustrated by simple solutions. Some things are just frustratingly simple. And we get kind of frustrated because it is. Let's go to Jesus and the 10 lepers. Jesus did what Naaman wanted. He waved his hands, right? And they were made clean. They're from a distance, because if you're a leper, you need to be outside of the community. You can't be close to anyone. If you're walking down a street and other people are on the street, you literally have to scream while you're walking, I'm a leper, I'm a leper, I'm a leper, so that people would stay away from you, so they wouldn't contract the disease. And so most lepers lived outside of town. It's like they had to be excommunicated from the church and disowned by their family. And they just live together. And they see Jesus, and they see this as an opportunity to say, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. And Jesus waves his hands, and they're made clean. And they go and they show themselves to the priest so they can go back to living their lives. They can be a member of their family. They can be a member of their community. But only one comes back to say thank you. I think only one came back to say thank you because what Jesus did was so simple. It didn't take any time. I think if Jesus made it take a little bit longer, if he pretended to work a little harder to do it, made a show out of it, maybe people would be thankful, because when things are a little bit more difficult for ourselves or for others, we're a little bit more thankful. We struggle to appreciate the things in life that come easy. While I was at the competition, I was talking to another pastor who I'd known a very long time. And we were talking again about what's happening in Abiding Grace. And he was so excited for us. And he reminded me again how so few new mission starts succeed. And how, God has blessed us in all these wonderful things. And I guess we've been going so fast, so quick for so long, that I just forget how we started and where we came from. And those early meetings we had at the Heart's Living Room where we wondered, is this going to work or not? I just forget those things because it just all came so easy. But then I'm confronted with a day like today, where many of you don't know this, but the reason that things were so easy for us, I think, at the beginning, was the hospitality and generosity of Pat and Cecil Howard. Pat, and I don't want to embarrass you, and I'm sorry that I am. But they ran the school here, and they opened their arms to us right at the very beginning. And then when they decided that they had had enough of doing the school thing and they wanted to retire, they made it very, very easy for us to become owners of this property. And Pat and Cecil have meant so much to us, and I hate to embarrass you, but today's their last day with us. They have officially built their retirement house in Bandera, Texas. And they are moving tomorrow. And they're going to be 5 hours away out in the hill country, living the good retired life. And we are going to miss you so much. But before you go, you need to hear how thankful I am to you for making it so easy for us for so many years. Can we give them a round of applause? You don't realize how often people have an impact in your life like that. How they make things so easy for you. And I think we lose out on that as well, as Taylor said, with God. We forget how simple God has made it for us. God's grace is frustratingly simple. There is nothing you can do to earn it. There is nothing you can do to make God love you anymore. All you have to do is believe that God loves you, and guess what? God loves you. Even if you don't believe that God loves you, God loves you. And God wants you to believe that God loves you. Nothing is required of us. Jesus did all the work. But this time it took more than just a wave of the hands to make everything good. Jesus actually suffered for this. Jesus went through a lot of pain so that you would know that you are loved, that you are forgiven, and that God has made a spot for you in heaven. There's nothing that is required of you, but there are a few things that are expected of you. Just a few, not that many. And if we look at the lesson today, I think there's two important ones that are expected of you. The first is come back and say thank you. Come back and say thank you. And I love what the text says. Because he came back and said thank you, he was made well. The others were healed. Because there's a difference between being healed and being made well. And gratitude has a lot to do with it. Having a life that is where you are well must be a life of gratitude. A life where you are thankful for the things that you have. and thankful for what God has done. So come back and say thank you. And the easiest way to do that is to come here every Sunday morning at 10:30. Because our worship service is designed to say thank you to God. In a few minutes, we're going to do something called the Great Thanksgiving. What we're doing there, you may say it every week and may not even realize what you're saying, but we are forcing you liturgically to say thank you to God. You're welcome. Come back. And then, as he told them, go to the priest and tell them what you have done, what God has done for you. Show them. We are all sent to go and to tell others what God has done for us. You may not have been healed from a disease. You may not have been given your life back, but you've been promised eternal life, and that lasts a whole lot longer, and that's going to be a whole lot better. Not because you've earned it, but because God knows we would all fail if we had to earn it. As much as we want to achieve in this life, as much as we want to work for things, deep down inside, we all want to be loved. We want to be loved for who we are, just the way we are. We want to be loved when we're on top of the world, and more importantly, we want to be loved when we are in the midst of a colossal failure. And the good news is that God never stops loving us. God is always with us and always will be. Amen.